how Poppy Playtime succeeded while Bendy failed at. In this video, we're not going to be hating on any of the games. You just need to know that I'm a fan and I love both the games. They're both special in their own different unique way, but there is one thing that Poppy Playtime did right that Bendy sadly did not do right, and the reason why right now, which is the more popular game that's getting all the fame right now that everybody's hyped up for, it's Poppy Playtime, and it's sadly not Bendy. Both these games, I wish they both, just blew up at the same time, but sadly that's not how it works. But in this video, we're going to be mentioning all the things that Bendy didn't do that Poppy Playtime took advantage of and took the spotlight away from Bendy. Number one, the most biggest one here now, is definitely the hype. Hype and wait is definitely a huge thing, because if you just release a whole game, like just the whole thing, well, many people want to play it. It's going to be hype for at least like 1 or 2 months, and then it'll fade out into existence. But not with chapter by chapter games. With this whole entire, time of releasing the game, you'll be able to play the game, the chapter, probably for like an hour or two, have extremely fun. Everybody talks about it for a few months, and then it dies down. But it's not fully dead, because everybody's getting excited and hyped for the next chapter. Exactly what Bendy and Ink Machine did, with Bendy and Ink Machine actually being the very first game, the very first indie game to ever introduce the chapter by chapter status for horror games. So it was so big. Chapter 1 came out, meant to be just a 1 or 2 day or week project, became so big, everybody loved it. The story started building up. The game chapter came out, everybody played it. A few months later, went dead again, but then we got teasers. Everybody starts theorizing. Everybody starts thinking, what is going to happen next? It kept the hype alive for all those years until it sadly just, died. Once Chapter 5 released, everybody didn't like the way it ended. Everybody wasn't satisfied. All the theories, it was just an unsatisfying ending, and it was just something that many people were not satisfied with. But right before Bendy died, we officially got news of a second game. Not a prequel, not a sequel, but it's a new game called Bendy and the Dark Revival. We heard that this is going to come out in the same chapter by chapter base, Bendy and Ink Machine 1, coming out every single chapter, getting us all excited. Maybe a 1 to 2 year wait in between. Who knows? It was all going to be extremely excited. It will, have something to look forward to again. The next big Bendy game. We got teasers. We got release dates in 2020 to 2021 or something like that. It looked extremely good. It looked extremely promising. We all were extremely looking forward to that until it went silent. We didn't hear anything about it for a while until we got the news that the whole entire game, the reason why it's taking a lot longer is because they're making the full game at once. All 5 chapters, one big game. This news got many people excited and kind of split the community into people that love it and people that hated the idea. Because with this idea, that means you're going to have to wait a lot longer for content. Yes, that means the hype is still going on. Many people excited, shows teasers and all that stuff. It gets lots of people to play the game, and also good financially when you think about it. You can have a more bigger, more expensive game to actually finish the entire game. You're going to pass that 2-hour mark to refund it, meaning you cannot refund the game after that. But if it comes out like chapters, the DLCs, and once you're done playing it, you don't like it, you can easily get refunded like that. Many people, that also has a different tie between you cannot theorize. When a chapter starts, you cannot just start theorizing what's going to happen next. It's just the full entire game. No fun in theorizing like that. So that's why it's a whole tie between. Many people like it. You get a whole bunch of Bendy content in one day. You can play it all. It goes for a couple of months, but then sadly dies because, there's not a next chapter. So that's what literally happened. After that, it got delayed. The whole Joey Drew's lawsuit happens, and then Bendy and Dark Revival finally came out as a twist surprise in 2022, November 14th to November 16th. It came out. It was definitely big. Lots of big YouTubers played it, like Markiplier, Dancing. Many people played it, but Jacksepticeye didn't play it, and you're probably wondering why he didn't play it. Well, there's a whole video that also got recommended to me, and also made me want to make this video. He said that the game was just not a big thing anymore. Not many people were talking about it. The game's, you could think about it as dead, So that's why he's not doing a video on it. But I bet if it was a chapter by chapter release date and chapter 2 was coming soon, he would have played chapter 1. You see, when Poppy Playtime chapter 2 was coming out, everybody was already going back to play chapter 1. Yeah, it's, the only thing we got, but that was the only thing we got. You could go back, you keep referring to that, keep looking at all the secrets, all the hints, play all that. YouTubers keep going back and forth. Let's say a YouTuber comes out when Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 is about to come out. Some new YouTuber come out, play all the older games just to get caught up. But nobody's going to play like Bendy the Dark Revival until there's a brand new game coming out for Bendy, and there's a need to go back to that. If there is a need, maybe Jacksepticeye would actually go back. He would maybe actually go play the game, but that's sadly not the case. But now, when it comes to Poppy Playtime, they did things smart now. They released a chapter for $5, surprisingly. And you're probably wondering, yeah, they definitely need to pay the devs, because unlike Bendy and Ink Machine, it wasn't like a two-person team. It was an actual team. The thing with, Enchanted Mob, or, Mob Entertainment, they had already a team. There was a full animation studio for years doing Minecraft animations. They already had the talent. They already had the money. They already had the funding. All they needed was just the big idea. It was kind of the opposite with Bendy's route. They already had the idea. They just needed, the funding and the time and the people to make something bigger. But when it came to Poppy Playtime, May Chapter 1, it was a big smash hit. Then, came a whole bunch of controversies, as when something becomes popular, there's always controversy with the whole, Echo Coaster situation, the whole entire movie and how they're rushing a little bit too fast, making merch, plushies, shirts, NFTs that we don't talk about anymore, and also the whole entire movie right before a second chapter even came out. So yeah, many people look at that like, wow, they're just merchandising off the company, just doing this. But in many other people's eyes, it can also be like, they're thinking smart. This game is not going to last forever. But a way to make it to last forever in people's mind is just making it big, making it something great, making a whole time movie to tie in with it, making some merch that you can actually go and get in hand that you'll never forget, giving some people like this things and like, things to hold on to, things to actually have in real life while you wait for the next chapter. And then Chapter 2 came out. It was a great hit. Yes, it had bugs in the first few days, but the game was really good. It was extremely better than the very first chapter, even though it costed $10. People still got it. It was a fun game. The game, was better than a lot of people think. It just wasn't as scary, and that was one thing everybody was sad about. But now, was that a voice crack? I guess it was. But now we got ourselves Chapter 3 to look forward to. It's been over 9 months since Chapter 2 came out, and now all we're looking forward to is Chapter 3. What's after that? Chapter 4. You can definitely see where I'm going with this. Within that whole chapter by chapter period, it gives enough time to release movies, let's say books, toys. Think of it as how, Five Nights at Freddy's released their games. In just 1 year, they released 3 to 4 games? They released all of them back to back. They weren't chapters, but they were full-on games, keeping the story and all the suspense up. Sadly, Bendy can't really do that. They can't just go start releasing multiple games in a year. They just can't do that right now. It's kind of like what Garden of Banban's doing. Instead of releasing chapter by chapter, they're releasing many games like Scott Cawthon technically did. Just back to back to keep the lore and the whole entire community satisfied, because they all know if we wait too long, the hype will die, and the whole entire internet, everybody just wants the hype thing right now. They want the most popular thing, and right now, Poppy Playtime's pretty on top of that. Even going on and releasing, in the meantime, while we wait for Chapter 3, a multiplayer game. Multiplayer games mean you'll be able to actually go and play with other people over and over again. It's fun. It's not just like a chapter game where you play once, play again, just look at the secrets, stuff like that, and just drop it, and that's it. Multiplayer games, you go back and back and back, and this Poppy Playtime really played their cards extremely smart. And now with the new upcoming movie that is still in the works, a whole bunch of brand new merch probably coming soon, updates to the multiplayer game where we wait for each new chapter, Poppy Playtime played their cards right, and is right now in the spotlight, where sadly Bendy and the Dark Revival missed out on it all. They had the merch, they had it all ready, but it released before the game even came out, so the merch didn't do as well because there's no game to play and be like, oh, I get to play this game, now I want to go buy the merch. No, you can't play the game at all. You bought the merch, but you don't know anything about the characters because you never actually went and played the game, and the game comes out years after, all in one go, 1, 2, 3, bam! Just like that. Boom, trailer coming tomorrow. Boom, trailer. Oh, look at that. In literally less than a month, the game is going to be releasing. And then it's all happened so fast. They had no time to really think about it. No, hype to be developed. No theories. Just 1, 2, 3. The game released. Everybody played it, had fun, and that was it. And that is literally the whole entire video explaining how Poppy Playtime succeeded while Bendy failed. Bendy in the original beginning, Bendy was a king. Bendy had the spotlight, all the chapter by chapter. But sadly, as all good things go, everything goes up, must come down, and now it's time for Poppy Playtime to be in the spotlight, and and continue on Bendy's legacy. Unless Bendy's able to come back with a new chapter by chapter game, I don't really think that's gonna be happening anytime soon. And I think Poppy Playtime right now just has everything. They're probably sooner or later might even be FNAF. Who knows? Like, we're still waiting for the DLC. Like, where is it, man? Where is it? Anywho, guys, this is me really it for this video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys do think about it. It was just an idea that kept floating in my head, like, wow, Poppy Playtime just really play their cards right. I kept going in my head like how they planned everything out like so perfectly. They probably didn't even have it planned. It just worked out so perfectly. We definitely know they had inspiration from Bendy, and they took that in a good way and made it something big and something special, something to keep the gaming community up. Even though we have many haters and many lovers, it's kind of a mixed community, and I'm just okay. I like the game. I really love it. It's really fun and interesting. Cannot wait for the next chapter. That's me for this video. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me and if you think this is even real. Do you think this actually happened? Do you think Poppy Playtime is in the spotlight? Or do you think Bendy still is? Or do you think Bendy can somehow take their crown back? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.